wanted to put this video together, kind of a highlight of my handmade climbing gear. This thing's called a Figure 9. I thought it'd make a great looking climbing gear for my G.I. Joes. It's also be useful for rigging zip lines because it holds so well. It also looks good on the climbing sling, at least I think so. This ring is from various key rings, and I found it useful for holding all these little hooks and stuff that I used paperclip to create. These little hooks and pins are great for rigging climbing ropes for your G.I. Joes. I also find these little lobster claw clasps very useful as well. I shared a video about these S carabiners. They're pretty cool, and they work really well too. This is just a nail I used to create a hook. This thing, I pulled these scrap pieces of metal out of an, it was probably a calculator, electric calculator adding machine. And I put them together and they work really well as a climbing rig. If you swing this arm open, these little claws and pieces will open up and you could use it to grip things. And then when you bring the two long flat pieces of metal together, it'll clamp down on it. So you could use this to hold on to things. It also looks great as a piece of climbing gear. I like to find items like this in electronics that I pull apart to come up with different type of climbing rigs. Older adding machines have a lot of this kind of stuff in it. Even some electric typewriters. This zipline thing came from the G.I. Joe Sigma 6 series. I cut mine apart because I thought it'd be easier to store and carry that way. And it actually still goes together with the little hook and a bit of wire that I put on it. And it works just the same. At some point I'll have to go back and kind of file these edges because they still look a little jagged. But at least this piece of equipment turned out pretty cool. This thing was off of a hiking boot used to hold the laces. I found it useful for holding a bit of rope or string around it, and then it could be released pretty easily. Just another little bit of climbing gear. I made this zipline thing out of some components from more electronics that I tore apart. A little pulley wheel and some bit of metal and a bolt with a screw. This little piece here works really well for holding the handlebar bits that I made out of D-rings to create a zipline piece of equipment. These D-rings really work great with the classic Kleckson G.I. Joes with the gripped hands. They really held onto these really well. And they come off as well also, and you could hook this other bit. This also came from another key ring. And this one works really well because I could hook the ends to the bit of metal here and make another type of zipline rig, maybe for equipment or a basket or something. Just another piece of equipment. I think it turned out pretty cool. And then when you're wanting to carry this equipment, all these bits and pieces could be stored on this this hook, and it would be held in place with the clasp that screws down. And this could be stored on the climbing sling. I also find these swivel bits that I find on key rings also very useful. And they look good on the climbing sling. I have a collection of zipline pieces that I got G.I. Joe toy lines. I find that small pulleys also come in handy for rigging climbing scenes. This is probably one of my favorite things to do, is taking pictures of my G.I. Joes climbing. What do you guys think? Do Do you like climbing rigs? If you have any pictures of your G.I. Joe's climbing or your climbing gear, share it with me on social media and tag me so I can share it. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Don't forget to collect, inspire, and create. See you in the next one.